See to whom Jesus is drawing near. 3 kinds of people: to those who make peace with him, to those who are devoted to God, and to those who are kind to their neighbors. St. Thomas Aquinas. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus Christ reduced the 10 Commandments to 2, and in doing so, defined purpose and meaning for Christians very well. Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. In a response to an inquiry from philosopher Will Durant, Hindu civil rights leader Mohandas Gandhi wrote about the meaning of life. Religion, not in the conventional, but in the broadest sense, helps me to have a glimpse of the divine essence. This glimpse is impossible without full development of the moral sense. Hence, religion and morality are, for me, synonymous terms. My consolation and my happiness are to be found in service of all that lives, because the divine essence is the sum total of all life. My treasure lies in battling against darkness and all forces of evil. In Ecclesiastes, King Solomon said, Ultimately, all is known. Fear God and observe his commandments, for this is the whole purpose of man. Aristotle described the highest human good in his book, Nicomachean Ethics. We posit the work of a human being as a certain life, and this is an activity of soul and actions accompanied by reason. The work of a serious man being to do these things well and nobly, and each thing is brought to completion well in accord with the proper virtue to it. If this is so, then the human good becomes an activity of soul in accord with virtue, and if there are several virtues, then in accord with the best and most complete one. Evolutionary biologist Ernst Mayr, considered by many to be the Charles Darwin of the 20th century, said, Evolution, as such, is no longer a theory for the modern author. It is as much of a fact as that the earth revolves around the sun. Every modern discussion of man's future, the population explosion, the struggle for existence, the purpose of man and the universe, and man's place in nature rests on Darwin. What an extraordinary situation is that of us mortals. Each of us is here for a brief sojourn, for what purpose he knows not, though he sometimes thinks he feels it. But from the point of view of daily life, without going deeper, we exist for our fellow men. In the first place, for those on whose smiles and welfare all our happiness depends, and next for all those unknown to us personally, with whose destinies we are bound up by the tie of sympathy. 100 times every day I remind myself that my inner and outer life depend on the labors of other men, living and dead, and that I must exert myself in order to give in the same measure as I have received and am still receiving. Albert Einstein. If I could only give 3 words of advice, they would be, tell the truth. If I got 3 more words, I'd add, all the time. Randy Pausch. It's about how to lead your life. If you lead your life the right way, the karma will take care of itself. The dreams will come to you. Randy Pausch. Giving makes me feel like I'm living. Morrie Schwartz. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. Friedrich Nietzsche. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life he can only respond by being responsible. Viktor Frankl. Man is ultimately self-determining. What he becomes, within the limits of endowment and environment, he has made out of himself. In the concentration camps, for example, in this living laboratory and on this testing ground, we watched and witnessed some of our comrades behave like swine, while others behaved like saints. Man has both potentialities within himself. Which one is actualized depends on decisions, but not on conditions. Viktor Frankl. No longer talk at all about the kind of man that a good man ought to be, but be such. Marcus Aurelius. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius.